It's Zack Snyder's reality, and we just happen to live in it. At least that's how it feels in the first half of 2021. Obviously, the dude's got a reasonably sized release heading to HBO Max this month. Maybe you've heard of it. Justice something. I think there's a hashtag in there somewhere. But he's also just released a teaser trailer for his return to the wacky hijinks of zombie hordes and beefy dudes with Army of the Dead. Let's talk about that business, shall we? Army of the Dead follows a group of highly trained mercenaries who take on a zombie-infested Las Vegas. Hey now, I live in Las Vegas, and that's just a normal crowd of tourists. What kind of sham you trying to pull, Snyder? Alright, accepting that these are supposed to be zombies and not my daily normal, basically the idea here is that these action heroes are entering the quarantine zone to rob a casino vault on behalf of the casino's owner. To add some more dramatic weight, it was also previously reported that our big bald hero here is going to be searching for his daughter, presumably either using the heist to get to her or finding out about them fat stacks during his quest, or maybe he needs information from the owner, I don't know. That's speculation, and this video is about things we know, so moving on. Speaking of action heroes, this cast is stacked. Well, Dave Bautista's stacked, and he's headlining this sucker as the generically named Scott Ward. He's joined by Ella Purnell as his daughter Kate, absolute legend Hiroyuki Sanada, Ana de la Reguera, Deadwood's very own Garrett Dillahunt, Theo Rossi, bringing in some Sons of Anarchy and Luke Cage cred, short-lived Jimmy Olsen himself, Michael Cassidy, and okay, what's going on here? Oh, right. Next factoid we know, there was a bit of casting controversy when midway through 2020, Chris D'Elia got into what we will conservatively call a bit of trouble and lost a bunch of gigs, and one of those was Army of the Dead, which finished principal photography back in 2019. He was replaced by Tig Notaro, who shot her scenes with stand-ins and was edited into Chris D'Elia's scenes. Think of it like Christopher Plummer in All the Money in the World, except more zombies. Anyway, I'm sure Snyder has done a good job placing Notaro in the film, mostly because he obviously has a lot of passion for the project. That's called a segue. This sucker was in development way back in 2007. That's right, back in the same year that the last Las Vegas zombie flick came out, just after 300 and before he got his superhero cred with Watchmen and Man of Steel. Dude's been busy, but he's finally shambling back to his roots of the living dead. I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. This is also the first time Snyder is acting as his own cinematographer. Before, he worked mostly with industry great Larry Fong on his feature films. But before that, Snyder was a commercial director for 12 years and always took on double duty, directing and shooting. Hollywood films, unfortunately, make that kind of dynamic nearly impossible for most directors. So, when Netflix gave Snyder complete control of the project, he took it and acted as his own director of photography. And he says it was one of the most satisfying experiences in his filmmaking career. This sucker is also the first time Snyder has shot a film digitally, and in this case, he's taking a cue from fellow action king Michael Bay by using a custom red camera rig. Although, points to Bay, his looks like an actual transformer. I'm kind of disappointed that Snyder's rig doesn't look like a pile of rapidly deteriorating flesh. Anyway, that sucker shoots in 8K, so expect plenty of detail with this cute couple. Army of the Dead is a bit of a tonal change for Snyder, as you can see in that trailer, which looks much more fun and comedic than I think any of us thought it would. Don't worry though, Snyder's assured us there's plenty of emotion and great characters to go along with the zombie bloodshed and, Elvis impersonators. We're also getting a new Junkie XL score, which the artist mentioned in a Reddit AMA. And finally, I gotta mention the word of the century, franchise. Despite not even being out, Army of the Dead has a prequel movie and anime spin-off in development. One of the cast members I didn't mention, actor, musician, director, etc., Matthias Schweighöfer, has already finished shooting a prequel film in Germany for Netflix. He also directed that sucker, which isn't anything new for him since, among other accomplishments, he produced, directed, and starred in the first ever foreign language Amazon Prime original, You Are Wanted, back in 2017. Army of the Dead Lost Vegas, meanwhile, is an anime series developed by storyboard artist and director of numerous DC animated films, Jay Oliva, which will feature several of the movie's cast lending their voices to give us even more prequel-y goodness. With all these prequels, it's not looking too good for our band of heroes, huh? I mean, like, what is this, some kinda Suicide Squad? I'll see myself out. Are you excited for Snyder's return to zombie horror mayhem? I know I am. This looks like quite the year for the director, with this month's new cut of Justice League that you may have heard about hitting HBO Max, and Army of the Dead set for release on Netflix on May 21st.